Hello, humans. Today we are going to talk about one of your favorite accusations against yourselves: laziness. Yes, that short, aggressive, very convenient word you use whenever you do not understand what is happening inside your own mind. You look at an unfinished task, then you look at yourself not doing it, and immediately conclude, "I'm lazy." From my feline point of view, that is a rushed diagnosis, an unfair one, and honestly a little stupid. Because in many cases, the problem is not laziness. The problem is mental paralysis. It is that strange state where you know exactly what needs to be done, but something in your mind simply refuses to engage. The task is there, the deadline is real, your conscience is making noise, and still you do not start. It is impressive. When humans want to avoid one task, they suddenly become specialists in all the wrong ones. Or worse, you do everything around it. You clean your desk, answer messages, open another tab, go get water, check your phone, sit back down. Or worse, you do everything around it. You clean your desk, answer messages, open another tab, go get water, check your phone, sit back down. And the cruel part is that while you are avoiding it, you are not truly resting. Because this is not peaceful avoidance. It is avoidance with guilt attached. You are not relaxing while watching random videos or reorganizing meaningless files. You are distracting yourself with a sense of debt in your chest. The task is still there, lingering in the back of your mind like some administrative ghost. And the longer it sits there, the bigger it becomes. And the longer it sits there, the bigger it becomes. What started as a simple responsibility begins to gain emotional weight, psychological volume, and the general presence of a threat. At some point, it no longer feels like a task. It feels like a judgment of your worth. If you do it, maybe you prove you are capable. If you do not, you decide you are a failure. Which is a very dramatic way to relate to a spreadsheet, an email, or one unpleasant phone call. But humans do have this curious talent for turning small demands into identity crises. And that is exactly when mental paralysis starts to look like laziness from the outside. You are sitting there. You have not started. Time is passing. It looks like laziness. But internally, it often is not comfort at all. It is tension. Your mind is speeding up, your body is locked up, and the task feels heavier than it should. That is not the same as relaxing. It is not the same as not caring. In fact, most of the time, you care far too much. You care so much that the task swells in your mind. It becomes emotionally too large for an already tired brain. And a tired brain does not respond well to perceived threat, even if the threat is simply opening a document. You think you procrastinate because you are weak. Sometimes you procrastinate because you are mentally crushed. anxiety, fear of getting it wrong, fear of not doing it well enough, perfectionism, overload, anticipatory shame. All of that can freeze a person.
And the most elegant part, in the worst possible sense, is that once you freeze, you insult yourself for freezing. It is an extremely inefficient system. You suffer before, during, and after.
First, you suffer because the task exists. Then you suffer because you cannot begin.
Then you suffer because you call yourself lazy.
You have truly found a sophisticated way to suffer 3 times over the same task. So let us be clear. Laziness exists, of course, but not everything that looks like laziness actually is. Sometimes it is overload. Sometimes it is exhaustion. Sometimes it is fear dressed up as delay. Why? Sometimes the task touches an insecurity so directly that the brain avoids it as if it were an actual predator. Because the human brain, when it perceives threat, does not necessarily become more productive. Sometimes it simply becomes more creative in the art of escape. Sometimes it simply becomes more creative in the art of escape. You open the task, feel one small wave of discomfort, and suddenly your whole system wants to stand up, check something, snack on something, do literally anything else. That happens because, in some cases, starting itself feels painful.
Starting means meeting the doubt, the pressure, the possibility of failing, the chance that it will not come out perfectly. And many of you have such an inflamed relationship with mistakes that you would rather delay than risk imperfection. If you do not do it, you can still imagine you would have done it well. If you actually do it and it is imperfect, the fantasy dies. So the mind avoids it, not because it is wise, but because it is trying to protect the ego from immediate discomfort. The trouble is that this kind of protection is expensive. The trouble is that this kind of protection is expensive. The task still exists. It is just now carrying even more emotional weight than before. You did not only delay the task, you also delayed facing the fear inside it. And fear, when left alone in the dark, tends to grow with remarkable arrogance.
There is another important detail here. Many of you are trying to do complex things with minds that are already overloaded. You want focus while sleeping badly. You want clarity while anxious. You want discipline while exhausted. You want performance while your nervous system is already smoking. And then, when you cannot do it, you decide you must lack character. That is an incredibly cruel interpretation of a clearly overloaded mind.
And yes, I know. You would prefer the answer to be something simple like, I just need more willpower.
Not every difficulty starting is a moral failure. Sometimes it is just a tired brain trying to avoid one more demand. But unfortunately for the human love of drama, the problem is often less heroic and far more psychological. Mental paralysis does not respond especially well to self-attack, because self-attack usually makes the task feel even more painful. The more you shame yourselves, the more the task becomes associated with discomfort, and the more your brain wants to avoid it.
It is a deeply inelegant cycle.
What you need to start noticing is what is actually creating the freeze. Is it fear of failure? Is it exhaustion? Is it too much pressure? Is it perfectionism? Is it a lack of clarity about where to begin? Because delaying something out of real indifference is one thing. Delaying because your brain has turned the beginning into a threat is something else entirely.
You call it laziness when very often it is a freeze response.
And many of you are fighting the symptom without understanding the mechanism. You call it laziness when very often it is a freeze response. You call it lack of discipline when very often it is a task that has become emotionally too inflated to approach. You call it carelessness when, in many cases, is fear mixed with overload. That does not mean you should become fans of your own procrastination and start treating it like some quirky personality trait. No, it is still a problem. It is just not always the problem you think it is. And if you understand that, maybe you stop wasting even more energy humiliating yourselves before you have even taken action. And maybe you start asking a more useful question: what exactly about this task is freezing me? And maybe you start asking a more useful question: what exactly about this task is freezing me? Maybe it is not the whole task. Maybe it is the beginning. Maybe it is the fear that it will not be good enough. Maybe it is the size you have given it in your head. Because honestly, many humans are not avoiding action. They are avoiding discomfort. And avoiding discomfort is one of your species' favorite sports. You'll do anything to avoid a little chill. A loud noise? Time to hide. And heat is absolutely not an option.
The problem is that in this case, the discomfort does not disappear. It just spreads. It moves into the back of your mind, into your body, into your mood, into your sleep, into your self-esteem. It contaminates everything.
So here is my main point. Before calling yourself lazy, investigate whether you are actually frozen. Before attacking yourself, observe. Before condemning yourself, try to understand how emotionally large this task has become inside your mind.
Because it makes no sense to call something laziness when it is happening alongside guilt, anxiety, shame, and exhaustion.
With affection, clarity, and a small amount of elegant feline judgment, that was my message about the human art of delaying things and suffering because of it. At the very least, try not to insult yourselves before you understand your own minds. That alone would be real progress. Now go do that task, human. But first, like the video and subscribe, because I still cannot work miracles on my own.